It became just like, I have to sell a product. I have to, and I'm actually selling a product, not people's data or people's photos. I have to sell this product. I have to let people often don't know who is the company or who is the organizing principle and what do they care about in the company. And I just made that trade and said, I'm going to have to become a public person and start putting things out there. And so, when I started the company, we started our first Instagram, and I started my marketing team started my first Instagram. And I had to start uploading things and talking about how I felt about things because I wanted people to know that this company was not going to be like the other companies that are out there. We don't sell their data. We don't sell emails. I can make $500,000 off my email list tomorrow. And I've been offered that money. We've got millions of emails from people who have signed up for our apps. Other companies who are starting companies, they want to go out and reach marketing people. So if you're starting another hunting app, maybe for cameras or for a call or a turkey call or an elk call or something, and you found Spartan Forge and you said, man, they've got 2 million emails. I could pay them $500,000 for that $2 million and start some top of line marketing, top of funnel marketing, and go blast them. So they would pay me a lot of money for those emails. I will never do that. I'll never sell my company's emails, the people's emails. I'll never do any of those things because the product is the product for my company. It's not the people.
So the reason why you use Android over Apple is the ability to root it and install things like Graphene?
Yeah, custom OSs. And
but yet you don't use it.
Not now, but what I still can use and what I still do use is Android also publishes their framework in an open source fashion where you can look at it's called AOSP, Android Open Source Project. So the basis of Android, the nuts, think of it as the nuts and bolts. I'll try not to talk in too technical terms here, but the basic framework, think about it like a car. The frame and the engine makeup is published so you can look at how things work on the inside. Apple goes the opposite way and they don't publish any of that and you can't see any of that stuff. I'm for the free and open version because at least if I'm worried about my phone having a problem, I can actually dump binary or I can create an EO1 file and Exhume. I can look at the binary and say, is my phone acting like it should or doing what it should? Or is there some kind of persistent implant? I wouldn't be able to do that with I would have to trust Apple and Apple's ecosystem and whoever their McAfee or whatever they're using. I would have to trust them, which I don't. So I like the Android because
is that option available for the average consumer that's not that learned in computers?
Well, the great part about large language models now is if you wanted to dump your own phone today, you could follow along with a large language model and do it, your own Android.
And how would you do that?
Well, you would have to buy some expensive. There is something you'd either have to pay a firm to do it, or you could download things like Cellebrite. You could get a Cellebrite, or there's other things called Forensic Toolkit, other things like that allow you to examine your phone at a deeper level.
And is this an app, Forensic?
They're products. They're products.
So it's a physical product
Some of them have
dump your phone into?
Yeah, and there's software.
Mm-hmm.
And there's connecting and all that type of stuff. Tools I used throughout my military career. Cellebrite was one of them, but they're Israeli owned. I've got nothing against Israel. I've just got everything against foreign actors. It's just if they're not an American company, that automatically kicks them down a level for me. So anyway, there's all kinds of Android just makes it much easier to examine your phone or to understand if you've got something going on that's funky than it is on Apple.
So for the average person, like for me, like if I got
You're not the average person.
Well, let's pretend I am.